Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Monday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for the rest of this week, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice week across Western Washington, with lots of sun and highs in the 60s to low 70s. So let's start here with the current satellite imagery. You can see we've got some high clouds moving across Western Washington today. Lots of high clouds offshore. Some of these will move through the area today, meaning it will be some filtered sunshine or mostly cloudy at times, but still on the warm side. We'll have some high clouds moving through the area at times this week, but we still will be remaining mostly sunny. You can see some snowpack across some of the Cascades, although that is starting to diminish, and we'll take a look at that later in the video as well. Taking a look here at the European model, you can see we have ridging that keeps every system away all the way through this week. You can see we remain dry, maybe a couple showers over the mountains there on Wednesday. Then we remain dry into Saturday morning there, and then you can see around Saturday morning we get this weak front moving through, bringing some light showers across parts of Western Washington through the day Saturday, and then that starts to wrap up by the time we get to Saturday evening. However, even those showers won't bring very much at all in the way of rain. Taking a look at 500 millibar heights, you're basically looking at where there's ridges and troughs. You can see we've got this ridging across British Columbia and parts of Western Washington today, and then as we go into Tuesday, that ridging kind of breaks down a little bit, but then we have this next ridge building offshore, which will allow some systems to drop down over parts of the Intermountain West, but will keep us dry and on the sunny side here in Western Washington. That ridge moves over the area on Friday, which will be the warmest day, likely highs in the 70s. And then you can see that ridge breaks down and allows that little bit of troughing to get into the area there on Saturday before we start to change our pattern a little bit there. Total precipitation through Saturday, you can see only a few hundredths of an inch of rain. So even those showers that are going to be moving through on Saturday are going to be very light, just some light drizzle that won't last for all that long. Very little rain across the area over the next week here. And then taking a look at temperatures, this is the thing we all want to talk about, of course. This is a national blend of models, so we're looking at a pretty accurate, high-resolution temperature forecast here. You can see for today, we're getting highs in the upper 50s to low 60s near the water, especially from Everett northward, and then most of the metro areas reaching the upper 60s to low 70s. You can see areas down near Portland reaching up into the mid-70s, and the coast in the mid-60s there as well. Here is Tuesday. You can see highs Everett northward in the mid to upper 50s, maybe some low 60s. Everett southward highs in the low to mid 60s, upper 60s from Olympia down to Portland, and low 70s around Portland and Vancouver, upper 50s to low 60s on the coast. Taking a look at Wednesday, we cool down a little bit more. You can see highs in the low 60s across most of Western Washington, mid 60s from Tacoma southward through Portland, and upper 60s to low 70s around Portland and Vancouver, upper 50s to low 60s on Wednesday along the coast. Start to tick back up again there on Thursday with highs in the mid 60s across Western Washington, low 60s near the water in some spots north of Everett, and then on Thursday there from Tacoma southward to Portland, highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. You can see mid 60s on the coast there on Thursday. Friday likely to be the warmest day here. You can see highs in the mid 60s for northwest Washington, and then from about Snohomish County southward, highs in the upper 60s to low 70s there on Friday, and then from Olympia southward, low to mid 70s all the way down through the Portland metro, and then you can see upper 50s to low 60s there on the coast there on Friday. Then take a look at Saturday. As that front moves through, we drop down significantly with highs dropping to the mid to upper 50s from Seattle northward, and upper 50s to low 60s from Seattle south, mid 60s around Portland, and the coast drops all the way to the mid 50s. And as we go into Sunday of this coming week here, you can see we drop those temperatures even further with highs in the mid to upper 50s across Western Washington and Oregon, and low 50s along the coast. However, as we go into next week, you can see next Monday to next Tuesday, and maybe up toward next Wednesday and Thursday, we will start to bounce back a little bit back into the mid 60s. However, this week looks to be really nice, and then we do look to cool down significantly on the weekend. So taking a look here at 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, this is from Saturday into next Wednesday. So after that cool down, after this nice week, and you can see we are trending below average temperatures from Saturday onward there. And then you can see there's not really a trend in precipitation. We're just in a pretty normal pattern right now, although there's very little precipitation falling, though that may change next week. Taking a look here at the U.S. Drought Monitor, this is something we'll be looking at a lot over the next few months, especially as we go into summer here and later in spring. I just wanted to point this out. This is the latest version released this past Thursday, and you can see already here we have a significant portion of Western Washington under D1, which is moderate drought. There you can see areas from the Canadian border all the way down the Cascades into Lewis and Skamania and Yakima counties there, and that does include the Seattle Metro, and you can see the yellow is abnormally dry, and that includes some other areas of Western Washington as well, basically everywhere along the I-5 corridor down toward, except Clark County there. So this is something that unfortunately will likely expand as we go through the spring and summer, as our snowpack is just not that good right now. So we aren't really setting ourselves up very well for drought conditions into the summer. So speaking of that, here is the Natural Resources Conservation Service National Water and Climate Center. That's the NWCC, and this is the snowpack map. You can see percent of average here, and the Cascades of Washington are not doing very good. We're looking at 75 to 77% of average for most of Washington, 86% around some of the southern parts of Washington. You can see the Olympics and Southern Cascades down toward Portland, and the Oregon Cascades, they're doing a little bit better. You're looking at 90 to 100% of average, and then some parts of eastern Washington up toward 90 to 120% of average. But still, the Cascades, moral of the story, the Cascades in areas that drain west in to the Puget Sound and the Columbia River, not doing all that great. You're looking at 75 to 100% of average. Ideally, you'd want it to be a little bit higher than that at this time of year, more toward what you're seeing down here for parts of the Siskiyou Mountains there and the Cascades of southern Oregon. So we'll keep watching this as we go into the spring here to see how our snowpack plays out over the next couple of months as we start to get toward meltout. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe here on Western Washington Weather. I'll be doing videos every couple of days. And follow me here on Blue Sky, on Twitter, and on the Western Washington Weather Facebook group. The links to all of these are in the description below. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will talk to you all later.